Hello, everyone. Welcome to Trades Talk Tuesday. Boo, scary. It is all on Halloween. Boo. Are you afraid? That's okay. You shouldn't be. Don't be afraid of the trades. It's all right. So, yes, I am your host, Pop Culture Mechanic. Please call me Pop for short. I have over 25 years of experience in the trades, and I'm hoping to share my knowledge with you guys. So feel free, please ask you any questions that may come to mind, and, hopefully we'll learn a few things during our time together. First of all, I'd like to greet people I've seen in the chat. Alex Moore, welcome. Nice to see you. Angry Canadian, get back to class. I appreciate you dropping a like, but you get back to class, you start learning. And, of course, friend of the chat, Jake D. Raise your hammer and sickle for the state. Ah, yes. We shall see, comrade. We shall see. Anyways, hope everyone's having a good night. It looks like things have settled down now. As far as trick-or-treaters go, don't think there was that many out today. And it's always a good day in this part of the world where you don't have to wear a parka over your Halloween costume. So it was quite mild today. It was above 0 Celsius, so it's a good day. Anytime it doesn't snow on Halloween, we're very thankful. All right, I just got to shut off the heater here. Nope. Okay, so as I so often do, and if you're new to the stream, whether you're listening on Kick or Rumble or Twitch or, the usual YouTube suspects, I talk about the skilled trades. I think it's something very important that people should learn about, and it should be introduced to the younger generation as a viable career. It's very rewarding, especially if you like working with your hands and problem solving, critical thinking, all that kind of good stuff. It doesn't necessarily have to be hard work. But you'll be feel very accomplished when you get the jobs done. So let's get moving along here to news of the week. And I use something called Plant Magazine. And they usually have some news as to what's going on out in industry. And you can usually tell how the economy's doing by looking at what's going on in industry, whether, people are getting laid off, whether they're closing plants or whether they're opening them up or building new ones. Usually you can sort of tell how the economy's doing. It may vary from region to region, but we always hope it's going to be good. Thinking in work and actively try avoid both. Oh, I'm sure, Jake D. With how's that shipping stuff across international borders there? How is that? How's that going? Is that good for you? Should I ship something to you? It's across the border. More paperwork. Anyway. So, last week, what a weaker loonie means for Canadians. I can tell you already what a weaker loonie means. It means more expensive imported stuff. Please do not. Okay. I'll think about it. Yeah. The dollar is most painful and the customers scream. So the Canadian dollar is weaker than the American dollar and has been for a long time. So anything that we import from America or Europe or anywhere else where the dollar is not very strong, it's gonna cost more for us. We're gonna have to pay more. Hey, Comic Relief Crusader, how you doing, man? Haven't seen you in a long time. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, just checking out what the news is out in industry. Nice, a new toxic battery company built here. Yeah, I see that. If you're in North Carolina, you're an Indian company that makes EV battery materials to build its first U.S. plant in North Carolina. So is there anybody from North Carolina? Anybody around North Carolina? Bolivia, North Carolina. It says here, an Indian company that produces a key ingredient for long-range batteries and electric vehicles said Thursday it would build its first U.S. plant in southeastern North Carolina, creating hundreds of jobs. Executives at Epsilon Advanced Materials and Governor Roy Cooper announced the planned $650 million facility in Brunswick County that starting in 2026 would make synthetic graphite anode material necessary for batteries that power EVs and other energy storage systems. When fully operational by 2031, the facility will generate 50,000 tons of the product annually. JT or Closius? Okay. I don't know. You want to get a job there? Would you move? Would you move to Bolivia, North Carolina? It goes along here. We're proud to have North Carolina as the centerpiece of our U.S. manufacturing strategy. EAM founder and managing director Vikram Handa said in a news release from Cooper's office, having an environmentally friendly world-class facility in North Carolina will allow EAM to provide synthetic and natural graphite anodes to the growing EV battery industry faster, more reliably, and at a competitive cost. No! All right, just wondering. The company said the plant is anticipated to generate 500 new jobs with an average annual salary of $52,264, which is above the current average salary in the country of $46,464. Cooper's administration has been focused on attracting clean energy industries in North Carolina. Do you guys find that's the average salary? Is $46,464 the average salary in America? Let me know. I'm curious. State and local governments have offered more than $33 million in economic incentives for EAM to build in form such as land, infrastructure improvements, training, and cash payments. So a bribe. So the state and local governments have bribed the company with $33 million. Portion of the state incentives, about $3.4 million over 12 years, is contingent on EAM's meeting job creation and investment thresholds by the end of 2028. The document said the EAM initially considered facility sites in 6 states, and the other finalist was Jackson, Tennessee. More or less, Jake D? Okay. I'm just curious. I'm not too knowledgeable about that. You heard 37K before? Yeah, okay. What's this? Auto workers reach a deal with Ford, a breakthrough toward ending strikes against Detroit automakers. UAW and Stellantis reach tentative contract deal as union adds strike at Tennessee GM factory. Okay, so it looks like hopefully these auto worker strikes are coming to an end. That's good. We don't have to have too much of a disruption. Vietnam's VinFast committed to selling EVs to U.S. despite challenges intense competition. So Vietnam is going to sell EVs to the U.S. I am interested in what that's going to be all about. Haiphong, Vietnam, Vietnamese automaker VinFast plunged right into the crowded and hyper-competitive U.S. auto market, gambling that if it can sell its electric vehicles to finicky Americans, it can succeed anywhere. Apparently you guys are finicky. Finicky Americans. Okay. Vietnam, fortunate son intensifies. Yeah. Some folks above made to wave flag. I love that song. It's great. Gotta be like in every Vietnam film. So far, that gamble has yet to pay off. Its CEO, Le Thi Tu Tai, said in a recent interview with the Associated Press that the U.S. market is difficult. It has sold just 2,009 electric vehicles in the U.S., less than 1% of the total U.S. EV sales, according to MotorIntelligence.com. Worldwide, VinFast has sold just 19,562 EVs from April to September, well below its 2023 target of 50,000. But VinFast is committed to riding the wave of countries trying to switch to EVs to cut emissions. Thuy said while speaking with the Associated Press at VinFast's sleek headquarters in Hanoi. Say that name 3 times. But yeah, I had a hard time just saying it once. We wanted to go make our name in a very difficult market. Our rationale was very simple. If we can make it there, I mean, people will believe in us. So he said. So it's an approval stamp to some extent, but it is difficult. VinFast is part of Vingroup, a sprawling conglomerate that began as an instant noodle company in Ukraine in the 1990s. The company built its first car in 2019 in a seaside factory close to Haiphong, where engineers monitor screens as gleaming metal sheets are expertly snatched by robotic arms and pressed to make frames, doors, other parts that are welded, assembled, and painted before the vehicles are tested. Okay, first thing I want to know is, are these any good? Like, that's great. They're trying to sell EVs, but it's like, is your car any good? Is it garbage? Is it going to fall apart? Hey, Jay's daddy, how you doing? Just hanging out here and seeing what's going on, because this company in Vietnam wants to sell their EVs in the U.S. and they're complaining they're having a hard time. The way I look at it is, you're gonna have a hard time. Don't cry about it. Do something about it. They're called VinFast. I just want to see. Oh, there's a VinFast Canada. I want to see what their cars look like. What models do they have? Oh, yeah. They don't even have my province. The hell is wrong with you? The VF6, VF7, VF8, and VF9. Good Lord. The VF9 is $100,000? Forget it. VF6, it doesn't even tell you how much it is. Forget it. Yeah. What a waste of time. Yeah, I can't see them making it in the US. Oh, VinFast USA. Here we go. VF6, VF7, VF8, VF9. Yeah. Okay, yeah. 83,000 for the VF9. They're not very upcoming or upfront with their prices, that's for sure. The VF6 compact 5-passenger E-SUV. Heart failure, Jake D. All EVs are trash. Yeah, until I can go and get an EV for like 20 grand, there's just no way. Why would I even bother? And it's from Vietnam, so who knows? The quality could be suspect. You never know. Ban electric vehicles. Hashtag ban electric vehicles. Oh, that's great. Yeah, they should call it the VF1S Super Valkyrie. Then that would get me to buy it then, JT. I do love my Super Valkyrie. Or Armored Valkyrie. Oh, Armored Valkyrie. Okay, let's keep going through this train wreck. In mid-August, when VinFast listed its shares on the Nasdaq, seeing them more than double in value to a peak of $82. That briefly put its market value above those of General Motors and Ford in late August. They're now trading at $5. Yeah, see, people were they jumped on it quick, they bumped it up, and then now it's trading at $5 a share. But while investor enthusiasm cooled after initial buying frenzy, the company is committed to the U.S. market. It's building a $4 billion EV factory southwest of Raleigh, North Carolina, where production is planned to begin next year. So you guys are getting a factory in Raleigh. make ruining the environment great again. Hey, my car's running right now. I switched mine over from gas to coal powered, so I have a coal powered car, and I just leave it run in the driveway. Just, nobody's gonna tell me what to do. I'm gonna run that thing all the time. Viet communism, our shares. Our shares. Not my shares, your shares. Based. Later this year, VinFast plans to begin delivering EVs in Europe. Furi said it is targeting markets in Southeast Asia, India, and the Middle East, investing $400 million in electric vehicle factories in India and Indonesia. It aims to have a presence in 50 markets worldwide by 2024. That's a lot of growth in 1 year, because it's just about the end of 2023. So they're going to have all that growth in 1 year? That seems a little bit optimistic to me. VinFast is part of Vingroup, whose founder, Pham Nhat Vuong, became Vietnam's richest man as the group's revenue ballooned more than 50-fold in 2011 to 2022 to over $5.5 billion. The automaker's ambitions dovetail with communist-ruled Vietnam's plan to make the auto industry a backbone of the economy. Its tree-lined EV factory was built in less than 2 years by reclaiming 335 hectares of land from the sea. For now, it's using only a fraction of its capacity to roll out 250,000 EVs a year. Vingroup's backing helps immensely, said Matthew Degen, a senior editor at Kelley Blue Book, an American car research company. The question is whether Vuong has the stomach to go possibly years and years losing money before VinFast eventually becomes profitable. But isn't that what happened to Tesla? Didn't Tesla was not making money, but they weren't making money by selling the cars, but they were making money by the carbon credits and the green tax breaks and all that stuff. Let me know if I'm wrong, but it's just what I've heard. If Chernobyl's taught us anything, is quota is set and quota is made. Yeah. We should try water powered. Oh wait, someone did. Yeah. What was that guy? Was it Stanley Meyer? And he had the water-powered car, and then all of a sudden he died of a heart attack, quote unquote. Yeah, it's too bad he had that heart attack, quote unquote, for developing a car that runs on water. It's like, oh, look what I discovered. Hired goons. Who? Hired goons. I'm pretty sure that's what happened to poor Stanley Meyer. You've worked with KBB and they are trash and corrupt. Okay. I'm not sure who KBB is. Our money, Jake D? That's essentially how Tesla did it. Okay. He drowned in the river half a mile from his house after he set his table for dinner. Yeah. FBI, open up. Yeah. Hey, Underground, how you doing? We're just talking about KBB, Kelley Blue Book. Sorry, Jay's daddy. I didn't put two and two together. But yeah, Underground, we're going over a company from Vietnam that wants to get into the EV market in the States. So we saw what some of their cars looked like and how much they are. And the top of the line one, the VF9, is $83,000 American. Crazy. And we don't I'd like to see them do crash tests on this and see whether these things are any good, whether the motors will last or the trim is good. Let the stoogery begin. Okay, yeah, he didn't have a heart attack. He drowned in the river. Okay. I have some history books. Some Canadian history books, and in one of them it shows a guy who built a 200 mile per gallon carburetor, and they had it in the newspaper, and all this kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden somebody broke into his garage and stole everything. Yeah. Yeah, how convenient that they knew exactly what to go for. You know, just random break into the guy's garage. No stooge shenanigans. VF9 looks ugly. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know who they're trying to get into the US market, so they better make it look a little nicer than that. Are they Whoopa approved history books? He would have to come and see them just to make sure. I will not hide anything from Comrade Lear. And being open and honest. Did you ever see the crash test for the Geo Smart car? They are surprisingly durable. Okay. There's a guy in Dubai who has created a water-powered system this year. Oh. Yeah, is he still alive? Or did he die in a plane accident? Or did, somebody, rob him? Because that's what happens. Yes, let's see what else is going on here. VinFast quickly abandoned a plan to sell EVs directly to customers like Tesla does, and now is focused on working with dealers in the US and Canada to capitalize on their local knowledge, Dewey said. We realized that this movement towards EVs is a lot faster than anticipated, and we need to join forces. The few automakers that have managed to break into the US have done so by either selling cheaper cars initially, like Hyundai or Kia, or by building a reputation based on performance or design, said Sam Abelsmid, a mobility analyst for Guidehouse Insights. You've got to have something that distinguishes you from everyone. Why are you different, he said. So far, it's unclear what might attract buyers. Not price. VinFast VF8 crossover or medium-sized SUV starts at $46,000 in California compared to the $43,000 for the Tesla Model Y. Tesla also qualifies for an additional $7,500 federal tax credit, which VinFast won't be eligible for until it begins making cars in their U.S. factory. The VF8 sedan is around the same size as models made by EV rivals like Nissan's Ariya, but has a range of 264 miles on a single charge. The Ariya can go 304 miles on a charge. Yeah, so unless their car, their EV goes either goes further on a charge or it's cheaper, nobody's gonna jump to grab your car. They're gonna be like, yeah, whatever, I can get something else. He's alive. He's a part of the mob there. Okay, so maybe he'll be safe then. That'll be good. Racing girls always attract buyer. Yes, Jake D. I think if they brought some racing girls to the dealership, there would be a lot more consumers out there buying cars. And Nissan's Daya Ria. Yeah, I didn't even know about that one. Then again, I haven't been looking at cars to buy, so I don't need a car. I don't need a car. I don't need a new car. Let's put it that way. I've got one already. I've got two, but one's not running right now. The company could potentially reduce its manufacturing costs to make cars more affordable, Abelsmid said, but that would eat into any profit. It just costs so much money to start a car company from scratch, he said. VinFast is expecting fresh investments of $1.2 billion from its founder and others in the next 6 months, as the company said it's in a securities filing this month. EV makers without that kind of backing, like the Ohio-based Lordstown Motors in the U.S., which declared bankruptcy in June, are struggling to attain the scale they need to attain profitability. This month, Chinese EV maker WM Motor filed for bankruptcy. So he said VinFast hopes to attain the scale it needs to make it with sales in Asia. Its 2 plants in Indonesia and 1 in India are expected to turn out a total of 50,000 EVs annually, with production slated to begin in 2026, according to a securities filing. That's fine, but you've got to wait till 2026, so I wouldn't jump the gun on those things at all. If they bring the girls, I'll be willing to forgive Hassan. Yeah, maybe, Jake D? VinFast detractors say its sales of more than 7,000 of its EVs, and Vingroup's Green Smart Mobility taxi company reflects weak private demand for its vehicles. So he said deployment of hundreds of its bright blue VF8s and Feliz S electric scooters is a strategy to familiarize people with EVs, which are quieter and come with connectivity and other options lacking in gas or diesel-powered cars. Oh, I don't know. My gas-powered car is pretty quiet, and it has connectivity. So I don't know what they're talking about. I can plug my USB in and listen to music off of it. I can do GPS on the map button there. Like, I can connect to my phone. So I don't know what he's talking about. And as for quiet, it's the quietest V8 I've ever had. It's like switching from analog phones to smartphones, basically, she said. Private car ownership is relatively new for Vietnam's 97 million people, who mostly rely on 65 million Honda and Yamaha motorcycles and scooters that dominate the roads. But with growing affluence, car sales are steadily rising. More than 500,000 cars were sold in 2022, according to the Vietnam Automobile Manufacturers Association. That makes Vietnam 24th in terms of vehicles sold. Toyota Motor Corp, Mitsubishi Motor Corp, and Kia dominate the market, and Chinese rivals like BYD are gaining ground. VinFast introduced its VF5 Plus SUV for the local market in April. It sells for $22,000. Next year, it plans to launch sales of a mini electric vehicle, only 3.1 meters or 10 feet long, compared to the average 4 meter or 13 feet long of most compact cars. Gas is the devil? Nuclear is the way of Wupstotska. Yes, I believe so. Private car ownership is relatively new. Yeah, I know. That's because it said earlier in the article, they're communist. Like, all that tells me is that they're poor and miserable, and they are under the foot of totalitarianism. So no wonder no wonder it's new, relatively new for car ownership, because they can't afford it. They can't, they can't even get the basic necessities of life there, let alone a car. VinFast announced on October 11th that it was acquiring VinF, a Vingroup battery company, in a move that it said would cut costs for batteries by 5 to 7%. I mean, 5 to 7% for cutting costs? That's nothing. Like, they're counting that as a win. If it would cut costs by 50%, yeah, there you go. 5 to 7% is nothing. That would help DGen of Kelly Blue Book said, but only if it brings prices down significantly, which it won't. Ultimately, he said VinFast needs a car that can compete with all of its rivals. What will they bring to the table that is better than their rivals and that will make consumers want to take a chance on them and give them business instead of the many other terrific offerings from established players? Exactly. You have to do something better. I live in Canada. Yeah, you live in Canada. Are you also in this miserable state of being? Stotska has the thing for you. Never need of anything again. You won't be out of minds long enough to do such. You won't be out of minds long enough to worry about it. So the big question, will they be bringing the girl? I don't know. I mean, Vietnam has some pretty good looking women, that's for sure. But I don't think any waifus from this one, Jake D. Unifor says tentative deal reached to end the strike on the St. Lawrence Seaway Authority. There you go. They'll get all the traffic flowing again and the trade and all the ships. Unifor reaches tentative contract agreement with Stellantis, ending brief strike. So there you go. General Motors reaches tentative agreement with the UAW, potentially ending 6-week strike. And that's good. I mean, we don't need strikes from the auto plants. They were just hurting themselves anyway. You know, they could have, people could have gone to places that aren't affected by it, like Tesla, Honda, all those guys. But, you know, if they want to buy their American cars, And if the own unions are gonna make it hard, then it's people are gonna go elsewhere. So it's good that they got over that. Let's just hope that they can settle it and get back to making cars, because we don't need a shortage at this time. And that looks like I'm caught up in the news here. Let's see what else I've gotten. I pulled up for you guys before this one from KPBS. High school students explore careers in trade at Palomar College. I don't know where Palomar College is, though. Do you guys know where it is? Nearly 700 students from 27 high schools in the area participated in the Trades Day event Tuesday at Palomar College. The students got some hands-on experience with jobs in the building and construction industry, including drywalling, woodworking, and welding, to name a few. Wolfgang Vorshaw, a San Diego High School Geotech Academy senior, said it was a fun experience. He's looking at a career in engineering but wants to know his options. I mean, you can go into engineering, but you're better off getting a trade first before you should go into engineering, just for the simple fact that you'll have the field experience, whereas a lot of engineers don't have field experience. They're not out there. They just sit behind a desk and pat themselves on the back and are in front of a computer drawing stuff and go, yeah, this should fit. Yeah, this should fit. It should be mandatory to spend at least 2 or 3 years out in the field before you get your engineering degree. Just my opinion, anyway. Nothing is ever settled in USSA. Not this place of failure. Okay. I don't know. I thought maybe it would tell us where it is. Palomar. It goes on here. We've been doing a lot of stuff this senior year, trying to figure out what's next, what the next steps are for college, mainly apprenticeships, he said. His classmate, Clarissa Bell Rodriguez, was looking for the same thing. Through Geotech, she found a passion for electrical engineering and trades. I want something to be able to learn fast and quick because my comprehension is very fast, and I just love engineering in general, like construction, she said. I love trade. You want something to be able to learn quick and fast and quick. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's you're not going to be very good in the trades if you just want to learn stuff fast and quick. The event was hosted by the Construction Industry Education Foundation. The event aims to show that trade careers are not dead-end jobs, and they are not. You will have a career for life if you have a job in the trades, is what I'm telling you all. I have for a lot of years. Being in the trades, it gives you that leg up right away. We train engineers here? I don't know, do you? There's a lot of earning potential right out of high school, right out of an apprenticeship. Okay, well, this guy is conflating his words. Like, you're not gonna be out of your apprenticeship right out of high school. You get out of high school, find a company, they'll indenture you, then you start your apprenticeship, which can last 2 to 4 years. And then after that, then you're a journeyman, and then you start learning. Because everyone thinks you don't know everything after you've got your journeyman ticket. You are just considered competent to work alone now, and you have to keep on learning. Yeah, that's said by Dustin Hildebrand, CIEF's youth program coordinator. I think carpenters right now are at $63,000 coming out of their apprenticeship for first-year carpenters, so there's a lot of potential growth. It seems an awful lot just for first year. It's crazy. For those of you that don't know, when you're an apprentice, you earn a certain percentage of a journeyman's wage. So if your journeyman, let's just say he makes $24 an hour, and you're, an apprentice, you're going to make 60% of that, right? And then every year that you pass your your exams and all that, and you go back to your employer, they are supposed to give you another 10% raise. So then if you're a second year, you're earning 70%. Third year, you're earning 80%. Fourth year, you're earning 90%. And then finally, when you're a journeyman, you're earning 100% of the wage. Carpenter apprenticeships near you start at $20 an hour if on the low end. Hey, that's all right. That's all right to start, for sure. The article goes on. He said there's a shortage of skilled workers in the U.S., and the need is growing, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Some trade sector jobs are expected to grow by more than 10% in the next decade. So we're trying to introduce students to that career field at an earlier age and try to encourage them towards that path of finding an apprenticeship or an internship right out of high school, Hildebrand said. Beyond internships and apprenticeships, students can also get an associate degree in the trades such as welding. Educators at the event said skilled workers with a college degree can increase their lifetime earning potential. Yeah, don't be fooled and sucked in by the colleges and all that. All they want is your money. Colleges and universities. Go to a vocational school, a trade school. You know, what's going to happen is when you're at a company and you're applying for the job, and if you're applying to be a welder, they'll make you do a test weld. They should anyway. The good companies will. They want to see what your work looks like and how well it holds up. So you show them that, you show them your skills, and yeah, you should get hired. You're a good welder, you have good skills, you get hired. You're not a good welder, you don't have good skills, but you got a fancy degree after your name. They don't care. They shouldn't anyway. What trade would I say is the best bang for your buck? Ooh. Machinist is good. Like you do the fine measurements and all that, and learn how to use all the machining tools. And and if you're a good quality machinist, also if you get into the CNC side where you're programming, I think that's where a lot of the money is, because what companies will do now is they'll hire operators to operate the machine, but then they'll have to contract out programmers, the actual machinists, to program the machine. And then they'll just use the operator who can just put the piece in, hit start, pull it out, measure it, right? So that's usually pretty good. We can also look it up too. We could just look up highest paid trade in USA. 8 of the highest paying trades positions are for Indeed here. Oh, number 1, millwright. Yeah, that's what I do for a living. $80,000 a year. Pipe fitter, $76,000. Heavy equipment mechanic, $73,000. Power line technician, $68,000. Electrician, $67,000. Plumber, $65,000. Instrumentation technician, $64,000. Heavy equipment operator, $64,000. There you go. That's pretty cool, though. I didn't know millwright was number 1. Let's see. Daniel Rodriguez, one of the demonstrators at the event, is going through the welding program at Palomar College. He said it was rewarding seeing students learning the skill. At first, you can tell they get a little discouraged when they see us cutting and it's not coming out the way they want. Rodriguez says, but once you explain to them the process and how to cut, you have to grind it, stuff like that, a lot of kids get really excited towards the end. The program at Palomar College is part of the American Welding Association, a nonprofit organization with a mission to advance the welding field with help members get jobs worldwide. Nice. There's also other programs where you could be a journeyman, which means they select you and they'll send you out to different parts of the world, Rodriguez says. And honestly, the sound of that sounds really cool. You could potentially be working in Mexico, China, Africa, India, anywhere that they need welders. Yeah, he doesn't say the downside though. I mean, I've done a bit of traveling. I don't like living out of a suitcase, you know, extended periods away from home. It's the novelty wears off after a while. You're doing, way more traveling, spending all your time at airports and all that, and then you're going to places where, you know, he named like all of those are like third world countries. He named Mexico, China, Africa, India. It's like anywhere they need welders. What's wrong with their people, the local people there? What's wrong with them? Why would they have to come and get people out of America? So I would just be very wary if they start offering you travel to other places. But that's just me. I just don't want to travel anymore. I'm getting too old for that. There's benefits to getting a degree in the trades, Hildebrand said. There are some apprenticeship programs where the students can earn their associate degrees during their apprenticeships, and there are opportunities that don't require working on the field. Opportunities that don't require working on the field. Why wouldn't you? Like that's where all your hands-on experience comes from. I think this guy's trying to butter it up too much for everybody. Like, get them out there. Get people out in the field. Where you're being more of a project manager or an architect and actually in the office drawing up plans for future building. Okay, he's an idiot. I'm just frustrated with this. Like they have separate courses for project management, and those are white collar jobs. Nobody's going to get dirty. Nobody's going to be in the working in the trades if you're going to be a project manager. You might work your way up, but then you're going to go take a project manager course so you know how to do it properly. You don't just all of a sudden be like, oh, I'm going to be a project manager. No, that's not how it works. So I thought this was a good article, but it started to really drop off at the end there. It's the welder industrial complex. Yeah, could be Jake D. As for Warshaw, after having tried his hands at metal cutting, he says it piqued his interest in welding. I really do like it. It's something that's satisfying to me, and I feel good when I'm doing it. Now, I wish they would have gone a little more in depth. Like, is he using an oxyacetylene torch? Is he cutting that way? Because there's like circular saws out there that can cut 1/4-inch plate steel, and that's a legitimate way of cutting it as well. So, or was he plasma cutting? Like, come on. We want to know these. At least I want to know these things. There's a picture right there of a guy using his DeWalt grinder and grinding. That's a small grinder too. Why wouldn't you give him a 9-inch grinder or a 7-inch grinder and see how they handle those things? Not a little 4.5-inch, 5-inch one. You blame the electricians? I blame the electricians too. Lazy electricians. So I went over to Indeed and I typed in welder for like New York City, New York. I just picked a city. I don't know whereabouts you guys are, so the electrician should always be blamed. Oh man, I was out on a construction site the one time, and I was working with a glazing crew. They put the windows in, and we looked at this window opening, and it had a piece of cable running right through it from one side to the other. And we went and found the electrical maintenance or electrical supervisor, and we're like, hey, something's wrong with this window. Do you know what it is? And he looked at it and he's like, those idiots. Like they wouldn't go around the window. They tried going through it. So you got to be on top of those electricians out there. They'll do shortcuts all the time. Yes, Jake D, indeed. And just looking into seeing how many jobs are out there for welders in the New York area. New York is stupid expensive? Okay. Well, where do you suggest we go? There another sort of more realistic city to go to? where do you suggest? Georgia? Like Atlanta? Atlanta, Georgia? Raleigh, North Carolina? Yeah, okay. I can do that. Raleigh, North Carolina. Okay, let's see what a welder does there. Can weld for Bueller. They didn't. Any place that doesn't provide any pay, I would be very wary. Be very careful. TIG welder, 22 to 26 an hour. Lead fabricator, 65 to 85,000 a year. Wow, that's pretty good. It doesn't cost $100,000 a year to get a closet in the ghetto. Yeah, I hear that. 22 to 27 an hour. No, they didn't provide any pay information. No pay information. No, not providing any. Oh, here we go. 17 to 21 an hour. But then I guess we have to see what the cost of living is like in Raleigh. Um, 19 to 24 an hour. Jack A. Ferrier Incorporated Steelworks. Only 2 pages worth of jobs for a welder. 25 to 40 an hour for Phoenix Corporation. That's pretty good. Hey, Apocalypse Kiko, welcome. How are you doing? We're just going through the trades here and seeing what jobs are available for welders in Raleigh, North Carolina. But now I'm going to try and see what there's any millwright jobs in Raleigh, North Carolina. And they sure don't like to give out the pay, that's for sure. Maintenance technician 3, you start at $31.92 an hour. That's not bad, really. Industrial maintenance mechanic, 27 to 32. Shredder maintenance technician. Hey, Godzillionaire, how you doing? Millwright mechanic, K&W welding. Oh, they don't provide any pay. RPO International, $31 an hour. That's pretty good. You try to smother the benefits over the pay. Ah, yeah. Yeah. Is that Maple Leaf dollars? No, this is in Raleigh, North Carolina, Godzillionaire. Yeah, you got to be careful too there, Apocalypse, because they'll be like, they won't pay your benefits, but they'll give you like extra money per hour, and just to not pay you benefits. Or they'll give a pay range of 0 to 500K for the position. That's why you got to do some research, like do some investigating into the companies that you want to go for. Like, you've got to do your due diligence for yourself. Like, look up, see what other people have said, especially on Indeed. You can see people review the companies, and they'll be, I'll tell you right now, they'll be brutally honest. You know, they'll be like, yeah, this place is garbage. Or if they're a company bag licker, they're going to say, oh, this is the greatest place ever. You know, and it's got to be somewhere in between, really. What do we got here? Maintenance technician, 21 to 23. Millwright welder, 19 to 24. Some places will give you an extra $1 an hour for having a second ticket. If you're dual ticketed, an extra $1, an extra $2 an hour. Oh, only 1 page of millwright jobs in Raleigh, North Carolina. Nobody happy does reviews on Indeed. Yeah, they're like, oh, I'm just going to stick it to them. I don't know, what's the big what's the big industry? What is Raleigh? What's North Carolina known for? What would they have a lot of jobs? Do you think? This is the God's ordained currency. The economy's booming. Well, you hope so anyway. Is it finance in Raleigh, North Carolina? So what would that... That's not the trades, though. Has a lot of banking jobs? Oh, okay. So maybe that's not the best place to look for the trades then. I mean, I know it's needed. It's you know, they're always needed everywhere, but just there might not be like a glut of them or maybe a big demand. Like, I'm guessing that like someplace like Oklahoma or something like that, there'll be more oil jobs. Senior maintenance technician, injection blow molding. Okay, 31 to 44 an hour. That's not bad. Millwright helper, so that's just like below an apprentice because you're just a helper. You're not even an apprentice. 14 to 20 an hour. Maintenance technician 3, 25 to 30 an hour at an Amazon warehouse. Wow. Have I watched the new South Park Into the Panderverse? No, I have not, Godzillionaire. Is it really good? The B plot is how all the handymen are super rich because all the college grads can't fix anything. Oh, that is great. Welcome, Sani Raj. Nice to see you. We're just going over sort of the trades here and what's available where. And I was just looking up in Oklahoma what a millwright would make an hour, just to see if it's a good place, whether the pay is fair. That's what you want, really. You want fair pay. $20 an hour, good for a plumber's helper. I guess it depends where you are and what does a journeyman plumber make. But $20 an hour for just a helper? I mean, that should be all right. But yeah, you can work at an Amazon warehouse as a maintenance technician 3. You want unfairly high pay? Who doesn't, though? Who doesn't? Yeah, Jake D, you laugh it up about that fair pay. Low cost of living in BFE. Yeah, your acronyms kind of get me. I'm not that savvy with American places like the acronyms like that. But you always do want to find a place with low cost of living. Oh, can't type what BFE means on YouTube. Okay. Okay, I'll find out later. He only speaks French. Ah, qu'est-ce que c'est ça, Jake D? What do you mean? I can speak more than French. I can speak... Oh, BF... Yeah. BF nowhere, usually. Yeah. Okay, I gotcha. Jeez. Anyway, that's what it's all about there on Indeed, guys. Yeah. Seems to be things are okay. Let's see about plumber helper in Oklahoma City. Yeah, 18 to 20 an hour. Service plumbing technician, 24 to 35. Does he speak English? Do you kiss your mother with that? Do I kiss my mother with that mouth, young man? Maybe. Huh? No, I take her to Woodstock's mines and say, you will toil until I say so. Yeah, so yeah, that seems average. 18 to 22 for an apprentice or helper plumber. All right, let's do this. And try to bring up some pictures here. So for the longest time, I did work in the waste management industry, which was getting rid of municipal solid waste, which just is a fancy name for garbage. And we would turn it into compost. And we would also take the waste from your toilet after it was treated human waste, and we would take that and we would add that and turn that into compost as well. So we'd mix the garbage and the human waste, and we would turn that into compost. So that's what the facility I worked at, that's what it did. It turned all the waste into compost, or it tried to anyway. So what we're looking at right here is called a swing pump. This thing is a hydraulically powered pump, which is meant to pump this stuff. This is concentrated human waste. And this here is the water box. Hence, it named that because there's water inside to help keep the pistons cool and lubricated. And you could also tell if there was a leak, in which case the water would change color, and you'd be like, okay, well, it's time to change the rubber pistons, because all is in here is rubber pistons being pushed by a steel shaft. It's bed o'clock, must sleep. Das vidanya, comrades. Okay, Jake D, thanks for coming out, buddy. I'll see you hopefully on Saturday when I have my game stream. But yes, this is... How does one get a job with unconcentrated human waste? Well, unconcentrated, you'd have to go to where it goes to first, where to go to the treatment plant. So the human waste goes to the wastewater treatment plant, and then from there, the wastewater treatment plant would send it over to where I worked. It would go into a giant holding pond, and then it would get dredged up by our dredge and sent to our plant. And after we centrifuged it, it would look like this, because the centrifuge removes all the liquid and leaves you with nothing but solid. So that's the way it goes here. And as you can see, there was no shortage of leaks for all the solid waste, and guys would try to push it down into there's a pump down here. They would try to push it down there and water it down to try to pump it out, which didn't work very well. You just have to get a shovel and a wheelbarrow and clean it that way. But that's why there's water all over the floor, because they would try to wash it all down. And it's a losing battle, because you can see they've got a snow shovel there, and the stuff just builds up and up and up, and there's no way to just pump it out. You have to use a shovel and a wheelbarrow. When you're out there in the trades, always bring a camera with you. It doesn't matter if it's your phone or if it's just an actual digital camera. Bring one with you so that you can catalog things, because you need to get information off of it when you have to order more. Right? So you make sure, and I know Godzillionaire loves these ones with the big flash. Sometimes the flash just doesn't show you anything. You have to turn the flash off. But you always get your information. That way you can order the same thing. You have to exchange like for like. Because engineering will always ask for pictures. Good point, Godzillionaire. Good point. So you always, and it's good for, it's good for your records too. You can be like, okay, what did we use on that job at that place at that time? And you can be like, pull them up off your computer and be like, here it is. So when the very first picture I showed you where we're looking down at that Schwing pump, this is looking sort of up from it, and this pipe here is what actually the solid human waste travels through here. The concentrated solid waste gets pushed through a pipe. Like this thing's about, what is that? 12 inches in diameter. It has a very high pressure flange. You can see lots of studs through there. Lots of pressure because it doesn't travel very well. And then there is also lube rings. You can't quite see it from here, but up here is a lube ring, which just makes sure that there's lots of water lubricating the human waste so it can slide through the tube a lot easier. And we have a couple of these along the line. You can smell the H2S from here. Surprisingly, we didn't really ever have a lot of H2S. Mostly the H2S would come from the centrifuges, surprisingly. But down here, not so much. It was really more of just a hideous poop smell. That's not such a good picture of the actuator for the valve to open and close. There's a little better shot. You've got your actuator connected to your valve body, which is just huge. Like that's the valve body right there, that big thing. And then you've got your actuator on here, which you can switch from to manual or automatic. They were Alfa Laval centrifuges, actually. I do have pictures of them. I'll pop them up in a bit. There's a little better shot of it. You can see the digital output on the actuator. Shows that it's closed right now because it's going across the pipe. Right? And then you could just flip this button here, or flip that over to manual, flip that over, and it would actuate it, and it would turn the valve, and you could open it up. Another shot of it. There's one of the awesome pictures where you get a flash on there and you can't see anything. Because they'll always ask you, there we go, that's better. Try to get a better angle of it so you can catalog what frame, which is important when you're ordering motors. Catalog, you want your frame, your horsepower, and your voltage too. How much RPM. Yeah. And then you could buy one to exchange it or replace it. Alternatively, you should take a picture from the motor data plate from 10 feet away. Yes, because the zooms now are really good. But then again, you get these. Sometimes it's too dark. Oh, this was a good one. So there's your centrifuges, Godzillionaire. There's one there you can barely see. There's another one there, and then there's a farther one. So there's 3 of them in the same room. And I was called to troubleshoot because they said they're having trouble with this thing. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll go see what's up. And so I went up there and I found this valve closed. Well, how is this thing supposed to get any feed from downstairs? So, sometimes operators are lazy and they don't want to do their job properly. So I was like, oh, okay. So I just opened up the valve and I radioed them and I said, how's it now? Oh, it's great. What'd you do? And I'm like, I'll be over there to talk to you about this. So operators are sometimes the bane of your existence. Y'all have flock pumps for the sludge. Do you mean to feed it in? Because what did we use? We had Gorman-Rupp pumps for the sludge. And for the flocculant, we use progressive cavity pumps. If that's what you're asking. But yeah, for the sludge, it was just a Gorman-Rupp T-Series pump, I think. Yeah, flock is flocculant, yeah. Just a second here. I am going to... Because they were quite neat looking. Come on. There we go. That's what it looks like, Godzillionaire, right there. So that's exactly the pump that I was using to pump the sludge. Good pumps though, really good, very easy to work on. I was very happy with them. But yes, the progressive cavity pumps would pump the flocculant that we would use. This guy, twin screws. Worn out twin screws. This is what would move the human waste into that swing pump. But yeah, these guys are like this should be a nice concentric shaft, like, but that's it's worn out. That is just, there you go. There's a better shot of it. That shouldn't be like that. There shouldn't be any grooves in it. It should be nice and smooth and sit inside the bearing and turn nicely. But yeah, that's ruined. There's no two ways about it. And there's the inside of where the screws sit. So that this piece here that we were looking at, this thing sits in here. These bearing hangers. It should fit right in there nicely. And this is a bit worn out too. I don't know if they were going to replace this, but this thing is yeah, very worn out. Ceramic tile lined. You know what? I am not sure. It kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Maybe once upon a time. But I can't remember the last time this thing was repaired. And there it is, a shot from the other side. So there's the bearing hangers right there that twin screws rest on. And then, yeah, this is, well, not a very good shot of it, but I believe that is the screw we're looking at the end there. I just tried to get as much pictures as I could, because it's not very often we have that open. Yeah, so everything about this is just so worn out. And it's incredible. And that's how we had to pull it out of there. So I think the other end of this sling is hooked up to a come-along, which we were using. And yeah, look at this. That should be nice and straight, but it's not. That is worn out like crazy. And these are the poppets, I believe. that would open up and let the concentrated poo in, and then they would shut when the pistons were pumping. So they would open and close, let stuff in, close, let stuff in, close. And because there is two of them, one would open, the other bottom one would be closed, then the bottom would open, the top one would close. So they were in sync with one another, and they would let stuff provide a continuous flow. PD pumps are so much simpler. PD? Positive displacement? Yeah. Yeah, and there's a bottom shot. Obviously, this is going to be replaced, this O-ring. It's worn out, stretched, gets all the, anything that, can affect it does. So, not quite sure what I was getting a shot of there, but. And, okay, awful dark there. There we go. Just a head-on shot of some poppets. Just checking to see what they look like. This is a flocculent pipe. And we got a report that no matter how much they turned up the pump to deliver more volume, they couldn't. And it's like, well, yeah, this is why. This whole thing is just almost closed right off. This is why you stayed with industrial sludge instead of municipal. Yeah. So there we go. I mean, that's almost completely closed off. And I tried digging at it a bit, and it's like, no. Like there's no way we're gonna dig that out in a timely fashion. So we just got a new piece of pipe. And I have my handy dandy welder. He is quite skilled. He had worked a lot in the oil patch and all that, so he knows how to weld pipe together. And yeah, we just replaced that piece. And we put it back in, and yes, problem solved. Lots of volume. And we were able to get it done, I think, in one shift. So that's all right. I always like being able to do that if we can get a job done in one shift rather than leaving it for the next crew. You ever have hydraulic leaks? Always check your O-rings, but always make sure that your O-ring are hard enough for the hydraulic pressure. They have to have what's called a hydrometer. And so this one, you can see, yeah, it's had it. So then we had a leak, a hydraulic leak, so there's a new one. Not as flat, sticks up a bit, and it fills right in, and it's hard enough to withstand the hydraulic pressures. Water leak. Water fire system. Yeah, I do have pictures of the Alfa Laval, though, centrifuge. How's this? And one design that expected to get compression out of Viton at 90 duro, it was basically a brick. Yeah, like I say, you gotta. It's definitely a science to picking the right thing to use. So here's the drive belts on those Alfa Lavals. 12 belts, 4, 8, 12 belts to power this thing. Hey, DJ Ronnie G, how you doing? You knew it was Tuesday, but still forgot. That's okay. We forgive you. Yeah, these belts drive the centrifuge. The centrifuge actually has two motors, a back drive and a front drive, and they're quite large. One spins the bowl and one spins the scroll. But yeah, these guys are loud. They spin at like 2,600 RPM, and the bowl weighs like 10,000 pounds. So you've got that large amount of weight spinning that fast. You can expect a lot of vibration, and you don't want a lot of vibration because then things start really going bad in a hurry. Can you touch the heat sink while it's on? Yeah, you won't get burned. Like you're talking about the fins on the motor? It should be fine. There's another shot of them. This is what happens when you have a little bit too much vibration, though. So this is the base of the centrifuge that was grouted in. We had them build a framework to lift them up off the ground because it was getting too hard for us to climb underneath them to do any kind of work. So lifting them up, that helped a lot. But then when they grouted them in, I don't know if they did a good enough job because it's all cracked. Those mini sludge centrifuge spin fast, 2,000 to 2,500 RPM? Yes. You got her, Godzillionaire. So yeah, I had to take pictures of this to show the managers that this is a problem. So there is isolators on top of the base. So the centrifuge does have springs, and it also, I believe, it has rubber isolators as well. I'd like the video about motion amplification by Steve Mould. Is that where they show you pictures of the Tacoma Narrows Bridge when it collapsed because of the sympathetic vibrations? Yeah, there we go. There's a good shot, Godzillionaire. That's what you want. So as you can see right there, there is the back drive belt or back drive motor. Oh, it's actually related to this. Okay. There is the main drive motor. There is the oil and cooler, because the bearings that support this need their own supply of oil, cool oil, because they get so warm. Yeah, those have a back drive too. Oh, and there is, you can just barely see at the bottom of the picture, there's a new bowl. It's all wrapped up because it just came back from being worked on and rebuilt at Alfa Laval. And we had it there because we were going to swap it out the next chance we got. Hydraulically driven too. Okay. So yeah, there's that one. Then there's that one. Two the same. And then what we did is we took out the third one that was the same and we put in the next generation of centrifuge. They called it the G2, the Superfuge. And it is a little different style than the older ones, but it was supposed to do way more. We were supposed to be able to just run this guy and be able to meet our quota of material. You did so many replacement bowl drawings back in the day. Yeah. Same thing. This thing has two motors. But yeah, it was it's supposed to have a lot more capacity than just the older ones. The G1s, if you will. They went to that over-under design versus the side-by-side design. Yeah, I guess so, eh? Well, we had problems with this one too, this new one. And I'll show you. There's another shot of how they're fed. So this is a water supply and a sludge supply, or sorry, flocculant. Flocculant supply, water supply, and I think sludge is in there too. And they get fed into that end of the centrifuge. on every single one of these. There is our bags of flocculant. Each one of these is like, I don't know, 2,200 pounds. So we load that up, and that just gets put into this thing here, which meters it into some water. It gets blown into some water into a vat, and it gets mixed up. Dealing with feed pipes, stupid things, always had natural frequency problems. Yeah, there's a better shot of that other bowl. It's sitting there. Underneath here, you can't really see it, but that's a bearing right there. The support bearing, and there's one on this end. Hard to see because they wrapped it up, but that is where the support bearings are. Oh, this is that G2 centrifuge with the cover off the top. This is all human waste. All of this. So that needed to be cleaned out. And I had asked them, I'm like, the operators, did you guys clean it out before I work on it? Oh, yeah. No, you didn't. Right there is where the material comes out. And then it eventually falls down into a slide gate down into the holding bin right down here. You can't see it, but a slide gate opens down here, and then it will end up in a holding tank. And same there, you can see the buildup. Yeah, feed ports. Those things actually have, there's what do you call it? Inserts. There's like inserts that are like epoxied on. Ceramic inserts here, so it doesn't wear out so much, because what you get, this is pretty fascinating. That's not a very good picture, but right here is better. This shouldn't look like this. This is the outside of the centrifuge. The water from the spinning action has worn a hole in this thing. So we needed to put a piece of steel down even further, some steel that could be used up, to block this water from eating away the side of the centrifuge. Silicon or tungsten carbide inserts. Yeah, you got her, Godzilla. That's right. There's actually a decanter centrifuge textbook you spent more time reading than you care to mention. Oh, yeah. The things we do for work, eh? This might be a better shot here. There we go. But yes, see that? That shouldn't be rusted. That shouldn't be... That's all worn away. So they're going to have to get in there and repair that. Either get a welder, weld a plate over it or something, because this is a big time problem. You can't have the framework being worn away like this. So that was the only problem that we had with that new centrifuge. It was, yeah. And it's amazing what water can do. It's just spinning water, and it just hits the same spot over and over again, and eventually it wears through. Bowl wall thickness calcs, made a spreadsheet for that. Nice. But yeah, that is the centrifuge, and I'll tell you what, I learned a lot working on this thing. I wasn't an expert by any means. We still had to call in someone from Alfa Laval when we wanted to do a rebuild. We would assist, but we had an expert there, someone who had done lots of rebuilds to help us out. And there's a lot of moving parts, and a lot of things need to be torqued down correctly. You know, you've got this big machine. You know, I showed you guys how big that bowl is. You know, you got this thing spinning at 2,600 RPM. Where is it now? right there. Yeah, you've got that thing spinning at 20. It's 10,000 pounds. You gotta make sure things are torqued down and not gonna fly off, because you wreck a lot of stuff. So yeah, the centrifuges were extremely loud. You needed almost double ear protection in this place, because all three of them going would you just scream, you know. So definitely a place for lots of ear protection. Kind of differential we're running a conveyor at 20 to 30 RPM. I want to say it was close. It's been a lot of years since I've dealt with this. I think the last time was like 2021. I don't work here anymore, so from what I remember, yeah, it wasn't that much. Differential was like probably between 10 and 20, I think. I knew they would have to. I would always hear them have to make a plug first. They're like, okay, we've got to make a plug first, and then once they made their plug, they could start, you know, the process of separating the water from the solid, and you know, the solid falling down into the collection below. But yeah, that's you're 5 years removed from that job. You can't remember. I know it's. I got other stuff to concentrate on now. I can only remember little bits and pieces of. That's why I took pictures too, because sometimes it helps you remember. Always, when you're in the trades, always take the camera with you. Always catalog the jobs you're on. Take pictures of what you're doing. It'll help you if you forget. It'll also help you if people want to see. That's mostly the reason I got my camera, was because the supervisors would hardly ever come around, and they'd be like, oh, well, how'd you make out today? Where'd you guys get to? So you catalog your progress on any projects you're on, and you can be like, here, this is what we did. This is this. This is this. And it's a good way to cover your ass as well, you know. And they can take videos too. I have videos. I didn't take a lot of those, but oh yeah, and Godzillionaire, good point. Just make sure your company lets you take pictures, you know, if you have to ask them, because you don't want to get balled out for something like silly like that, like taking pictures. So I don't know. I don't think anybody really cared much. So too late now. I don't work for those guys anymore. So, but yes, I'm glad I got to work on those things. They are quite amazing. The fact they can separate out the water and the solids. You know, these things are amazing machines. They're able to, you know, it's all about getting rid of the waste that you get rid of in your house as soon as you flush the toilet. It goes for treatment, and then it goes to a holding pond, and then it goes to get, you know, separated so that it can be turned into something useful, which in our case it was turned into compost. So if we can do that, if every big city had sort of this same setup to help out with their municipal waste and all that, I think it would be a lot better. But they have to want to do it. So yeah, there you go. Yes. That is the centrifuge. Those are some of the. That's what it looked like. It wasn't all nice and clean either, like I showed you earlier. Those pictures. You were slogging around in human wastes for a while, so not exactly the most fun place to be. But as I said to the one supervisor that started there, I'm like, oh, the good part is you get used to the smell. I said the bad part is you get used to the smell. So it's kind of what it was like there. But I like to think I have cast iron stomach from that place now. It's not a lot that can make me lose my lunch. Or get scared by anybody else, telling me to do a job at where I'm at now. I know the one fellow was like, "Oh, we've got some pretty bad jobs here for you." And I'm just like, "Buddy, I used to work with human waste. I have no fear. Don't worry about it. I got this." So, but at the same time, I'm glad I don't have to deal with it anymore. Where I'm at now, it's a lot better. Chemical factory, and I don't have to deal with human waste. So that's nice. It's nice to get to somewhere that's a little cleaner. Well, I hope everyone's having a good Halloween night. It's not too scary and seeing the ghosts and Dracula. So it's very quiet here. I think we had not very many trick-or-treaters tonight, so I'm glad you're able all to join me tonight. Little Trades Talk Tuesday on a Halloween night. Come and enjoy ourselves. Talk about the skilled trades, what you need to know, what things are like out there. It's not that hard to get into. The hardest part is finding a trade that you will enjoy. Because don't do something you're not going to enjoy. Don't do it just for the money. Do it because you enjoy doing it. Myself, I enjoy repairing equipment. I enjoy putting things together. I like prototyping. It's gratifying to know you can take something apart and put it back together again and it's going to work. It's what I like to do. And, I'm glad I was able to find a trade that can do that. So if you can find something like that where you're, it doesn't feel like work, then, you're ahead of the game. You're like, wow, I get paid to do this. This is great. And if you work at a place where you get along with everyone and, your bosses are decent people, then that's even so much the better. Because remember, you can always find another place to work. A place that might be better suited for you. Might take some doing, might take a little bit, but that's okay. And remember to always talk to people about the trades that you're interested in. Find people that do the one that you're interested in. Get some information from them. See if it's still something you want to do. If you can get some training from them, or get them to sort of show you the things that are involved in it. I think that's good too. That way you can get some first-hand knowledge, which is really important. Well, it's just about time to wrap her up there, people. Hope you guys had a good time. I know I did. Thus ends another episode of Trades Talk Tuesdays. I just want to thank everyone that came out. All you cool people out there on Kick and Rumble and Twitch and on YouTube. People like Angry Canadian and Alex Moore, Jake D, Comic Relief Crusader, Jay's Daddy. Always good to see you. The Underground. I appreciate you guys stopping by. And there was Apocalypse, a new person coming by. I appreciate you coming here and just watching me, seeing what's up. And Sani Raj, thanks for coming by. And Godzillionaire, everyone's favorite kaiju, DJ Ronnie G, our tech guru. But yeah, please do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you like what you saw. I'm here every Tuesday because, I like my alliteration, Trades Talk Tuesday. Seems like a good day as any day to do a stream. Spread the word, tell your friends, hit that like button. There's other good channels out there too, people I personally watch and enjoy watching, like Pacific 4 and 4. There's Blaine from Blaine's Escape Corner. There's Ronin66. As I mentioned before, DJ Ronnie G. There's Brandon, the anime guy. The Nerdporial Lifeform. Angry Canadian, hopefully when he's not too busy with school. Whoopa Troopa, when he's got a better internet connection. And there's Punkwaddle. He appears at Floral from Under a Rock on Wednesdays, and he has his own YouTube channel. And DJ Ronnie G, he did a spooky reading last night during your Monday show. Ooh, spooky. Did you talk like Dracula? Did you say, ooh, I want to suck your blood? I'm not sure if you did or not, because I missed it. Sorry, buddy. I've got a Discord. It's called The Shop, because that's where all the tradesmen hang out. We hang out at the shop. Coming up, it's a new month. Tomorrow is the 1st of November. And then on Saturday, I'm going to try to finish up Castlevania 3. That last boss is just kicking me around, and I'm just getting flustered with it. I've got to get better. I've got to beat this boss. And then Sunday. Sunday is, because it's the new month, the new theme for November is anime with kaiju in them. So I hope you'll come out and see some different kind of anime that has lots of kaiju in them. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm hoping it'll be a good couple of Sundays for anime chat. You used VoiceMod to help do a computer voice. Oh, okay. Good stuff, DJ Ronnie G. Good stuff. But yeah, that's what's up for Sunday. You only know of Evangelion if it counts? I guess, because kaiju is like giant monsters. So maybe I'm gonna try to catch a couple of old ones. You know, I like to work through the years of the decades past of anime. So I'll be checking the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Just to see what's out there as far as kaiju goes. Maybe Godzilla will show up and see some of his relatives. That'll be something. And then right away we're back to Tuesday again. It's Trades Talk Tuesday. I'm gonna try to see if I can't get some a live interview going on. See, I'm gonna contact a couple of people and see if they want to come on, and maybe we'll have a good old time doing an interview with someone, which I look forward to, and I hope you do too. But yes, until then, everyone, I hope to see you on Saturday for game day. Remember, I work the weekend morning shift, so it's always on 9 a.m. Mountain Time. So you got to convert that wherever you may be living. I think that's 11 o'clock Eastern and 8 o'clock Pacific. But that's what I do. The weekend morning shift. When you want somebody to want to stop by and see somebody streaming in the morning on the weekends, just think of Pop. Until then, everyone, I really appreciate you coming by. Hope to see you on Saturday, but until then, I've been Pop, and I am signing off.